And I want to welcome you to another round of 2-sentence horror stories. Join me, the Mortician, as I try to scare you to death. I was having a pleasant dream when what sounded like hammering woke me. After that, I could barely hear the muffled sound of dirt covering the coffin over my own screams. That was brought to you by Vigrid Arena. The last man on Earth sat alone in a room. There was a knock at the door. Scry 67 brought us that chilling tale. After working a hard day, I came home to see my girlfriend cradling our child. I didn't know which was more frightening, seeing my dead girlfriend and stillborn child, or knowing that someone broke into my apartment to place them there. That was brought to you by Cobalt Collapse. You hear your mom calling you into the kitchen. As you are heading down the stairs, you hear a whisper from the closet saying, "Don't go down there, honey. I heard it too." That came from Comparatively Sane. I never go to sleep, but I keep waking up. That was brought by Genetically Witless. Nurse's note. Born 7 pounds, 10 ounces, 18 inches long, 32 fully formed teeth. Silent. Always smiling. That came from I Choked Cheryl Tunt. She went upstairs to check on her sleeping toddler. The window was open, and the bed was empty. That was brought from Aaron. The longer I wore it, the more it grew on me. She had such pretty skin. That was brought to you by Black Magic. You hear the scream across the hallway, but your eyes won't open, and you can't move. That was brought to you by DK Mino. Being the first to respond to a fatal car accident is always the most traumatic thing I see as a police officer. But today, when the crushed body of the little dead child boy strapped in his car seat opened his eyes and giggled at me when I tried to peel him out of the wreckage, I immediately knew that today would be my last day on the force. Oh, that was a creepy one, brought to you by Scabby Cakes. I looked out my window. The stars had gone away. Oh, for any Doctor Who fan, that one would be very scary. Owlette brought us that haunting tale. I always thought my cat had a staring problem. She always seemed fixated on my face, until one day when I realized she was always looking behind me. That was brought from Hang UK Brian. I can't sleep, she whispered, crawling into bed with me. I woke up cold, clutching the dress she was buried in. Oh, Vault Kid 321 brought us that one. And here is a one-sentence horror story. I just saw my reflection blink. Oh, brought to you by Marino 1310. I kiss my wife and daughter good night before I go to sleep. When I wake up, I'm in a padded room, and the nurses tell me it was just a dream. Storyteller Bob brought us that one. I peeked outside. The pizza delivery guy is at the door. But I didn't order a pizza, and definitely not from someone wearing a pig mask. That was brought to us by Anonymous. My mother has been screaming at the front door for hours now. She's not happy that I killed her with my bare hands. Anonymous. I have a friend named Charlie. I'm playing at his house, but it's cold down here in the basement. I wonder when Charlie will let me go home. Anonymous. If you get scared at night, don't keep your eyes closed for too long. There's a reason you're scared, and now you can't see its approach. Anonymous. I used the Ouija board yesterday, but I only asked one question and put it away. I got my answer today, written in blood on my ceiling. Anonymous. The wailing from the baby monitor just won't stop. Problem is, my daughter is with her mother this weekend, over 200 miles away. Grandpa died smoking a cigar in his favorite chair. We got a new one, but from the ash marks he leaves behind, he has a new favorite chair. My husband woke me up by kissing my cheek when he got home late. This morning I checked my phone. He stayed with a friend last night. I like to sing in the shower sometimes. When I got out the last time, the fogged-up mirror read, "You have a lovely voice. I live alone." My wife just ran in to ask me if I was okay, because she could hear my terrible coughing fit from across the house. I wasn't coughing. With the final shuttle about to leave Earth, I made sure to leave an hour early to make it on time. As I watched the distant rockets, I remember that daylight savings time had been cancelled this year. That was brought to you by Book Seeker. I was always an atheist and a skeptic, but when the police offered the assistance of a psychic in locating my missing child, I agreed immediately. When the old woman looked up at me with familiar eyes and whimpered, "Why did you kill me, Daddy?" I had realized my mistake. That was from Rapture in Red. As I woke up, I was confused to feel something slimy covering me. My emotion quickly changed to terror. as I realize that my blanket has turned into a slug-like creature that was slowly digesting my legs. That was by Asrar Akhmedov. I wouldn't have a problem with my daughter sneaking in at 2 in the morning if it weren't for the fact that she was supposed to be locked up safely at the hospital morgue. As I looked into my father's eyes, I remembered him saying he'd always be with me. I smiled as I closed the freezer door, because he was right. That was from Wagapa. I think my Fitbit is broken. It's counting down instead of up since my last heart attack. After the disappearance of my daughter, I was desperate for a supportive community, so I was very excited when I came across an online message board called Missing Children. My excitement turned to horror when I saw that it was an auction. Our final story. As I pulled the knife out of my heart, I waited to fall into an abrupt death. I then awoke, but with a sudden growing pain in my chest. That was brought by sweatshirt_snuggle. I really hope you've enjoyed these 2-sentence horror stories. This is the Mortician wishing you a good night. Sleep tight.